had quite a big effect on progress on boat building. It's just everything is wet. There's rework when the epoxy doesn't want to cure because it's cold and damp. And I can't get to the ballast keel because the ground's too soggy. I just can't move things. So it really has been a bit of a problem. Anyway, moving on. So I'm sitting on the ballast keel, and this is now getting quite urgent. I need to plane the top surface, make it flat and level, get rid of all the bumps and lumps, so this can interface with the deadwood. So the deadwood is a piece of timber that goes between the ballast keel and the boat, and it forms kind of an interface, and I can fare this part of the keel to the boat shape. So anyway, so that's kind of the next kind of job. Bit concerned, or one of the concerns is that this is the top molded surface. So it's not molded, it's just the top surface, and this will have all sorts of stones and bits of metal and stuff in it, which will not be very good for the planer blade. But anyway, we'll get to that in due course and try and work it out. So let's go down to the boat. I'll show you where I'm at with that. Yeah, so it's really soggy. But hanging down from the ground housing, that little tube there. So where the furler is, that's where the outer forestay goes, and that's where like the genoa or the main jib goes, if you like. And hanging here is the chain plate for that. And I've been having an argument about the best way to do this, but I've sort of decided to go down this path. So this will have four. This isn't the real one. This is actually the backstay chain plate, and I've ordered one. I'll pick it up on Tuesday, which will be 12 mil thick. This is only 8. So the loads of this are quite high. This is a 12 millimeter wire rope up here, 1x19. Probably the highest loaded part of the entire boat. And this gets attached with bolts running into the hull. You can see that's pretty much where the stem ends. So those are where this is a bit up. Yeah, this is all a bit just conceptual, but these are meant to be where the bolts go. So there are 4 bolt holes and 4 bolts. M16 bolts go through and into here. That's just kind of the current kind of job I'm busy with. So I'll keep going and just show you where we're at. What's still to be done is a heap of stuff. So quite a bit of dramatic surgery over there. There, so into the back here, and this is the old keel mold which was made on the boat, the pattern. And above it, on top of it, is 3 layers of 20 mil plywood. So it's not really structural apart from it needs to take the compression loads of the keel, and then pretty small because they're distributed over a large area. So this gets one more layer of plywood. You'll see it's all bits of scrap joined together with overlapping joins, and that's fine. So this top surface here, this is kind of a rough template, typical boat builder template. So this is the keel, the right way up. That's the boat up here. That's the deadwood that runs there, and that's the ballast keel there. So from that, these are the templates at each station. So this is a station here, and you'll see there two sort of nibbles into the plywood, and that there represents the angle. You can see that it's pretty close, and that by the time I get another layer of plywood in there, it's going to be pretty close. It'll be there, and then I can shape. So then we'll rough shape it. We'll pick up the boat, slide it underneath the boat, and at the same time I'll weigh the boat and determine the center of gravity. It's going to be quite a fun job. This is, I think, for next week, I hope. I can then do the final like adjustment to the shape of that surface, which is the boat surface. We'll drill the keel bolt holes, which are already sort of pre-drilled and filled with epoxy, so I need to re-drill them. They'll come through. They are, I think, 14 or 16 3/4 inch bronze keel bolts, and then they'll be drilled through here. We'll then take this out of there, remove it. We're going to plonk it on top of the lead, turn it upside down so it's the right way up. That makes sense. And seafers. And then I'll shape this edge to match the ballast keel. So that means we'll match the boat and we'll match the keel. And then this piece here, then at that point I'll then reduce the sides by 2 or 3 millimeters, and we'll sheath it in plenty of fiberglass and epoxy so it's completely sealed. Yeah, so that's kind of one of the big jobs that I'm busy with right now, is the keel, and that all has to happen. Over here we have the rudder, it's well and truly buried. It just needs a bit more fairing and then painting and stuff. It needs a bit of love and care. It's just well and truly hidden. And some tillers and things all sort of put to one side. It's typically what happens is one thing overrules another. Anyway, so I'll move this way. There you can see, I don't know if you, but those are the extrusions for the bumpkin. That's another job yet to be done. So there's a lot of work yet to get through. The shed's in a total disarray, total mess, unbelievable, and like, yeah, heaps to do. Here you can see, as I say, I've been bucketing that out. Little hole, that's the kind of little trench for the skeg to fit in. But and you can see, if you look carefully, there's a tide mark there, and that's where the water came up to, 6 inches over the floor. And like, as I say, 7 times this year we've had water over this floor, sometimes only 2 inches, sometimes more, sometimes less. Yeah, so it really is a problem, and everything floats everywhere. Oh man, anyway, the good news is we've got some more resin from ATL, so that's all good. This is the really nice resin, I really like it. It's the 246, is it 246? Yeah, 246TX. Nice, really good laminating resin. Yeah, so and here we have some templates for the pumpkin. I'm not going with this style, I'm going with the other style, but that's all in another week. That can happen later. And just while we are walking around the boat, here's the scale to weigh the boat. 5-ton scale. On this bench is the ladder, the companionway ladder, which is kind of one of the current jobs. And I had to do some rework because it got wet, rain poured in, so all this piece here had to be cleaned up because the resin didn't go off, which is a real pain. Then this is the threshold piece, and these are like the this is for the washboard, you know. So as you come into the boat, that goes there, that side, I suppose. That's a little piece of jarrah, this is Oregon, so this is much harder. It's a really nice West Australian timber. I really like it. It's hard and it's abrasion resisting, and that's the reason for it. And you know, a lot of jetties and things over 100 years old use jarrah pilings and things, and seems to just keep going. So we've got jarrah on the treads as well, just again to stop any wear and to give it a bit of a protection there. And of course I've just been putting in the gussets here just to make it a bit stronger. It only adds a little bit of weight. Then there we have a helicoil type insert, and so that's the hinge point for the ladder in the boat, and I'll show you when you're on the boat. So I've been testing this method, and I really like it. I think it's a really good way to connect fastenings into timber. Those are glued in as well. So anyway, and that's just the chock, of course, for the so so when it pivots down, it goes into a chock to give it further support. And if we look around a bit more, then there's always a lot of things going on, and that's part of the problem. Is there's stuff everywhere, and if you get delayed with something like that, then the workbench is held up, and then you can't move on. This is the nav table, pretty basic, sort of IKEA type style, I guess you might say. So that's there is just for the like instruments, you know, the parallel rules, maybe a radio, who knows. And that there just forms the back of it to give it some rigidity and strength. And that's the top, which hinges up. The charts, folded charts should fit in here. I've sort of checked them, they seem to be fine. And that's just for logbooks, the A4 type size logbook. So that's kind of just a very simple nav table, gets bolted in, and just be busy with laminating up the trim for the top. So that'll get maybe done today or so. That's the other piece there, do a scarf and bond it to that piece there. And then one more job on the go. There's always something. There's always a multiple of jobs on the go and stuff all over the show. And anyway, so this is the acrylic sliding hatch. It's nice. Eventually got the shade I wanted and the thickness. And there it is. It's quite nice. It's meant to match the Goya hatches. So the grey shading. Anyway, and this, of course, is these are the pieces that go with it. That's the piece you grab onto. It'll get a transparent plastic cover, much like Simon Kerwin had in his boat, which will flap down and go over the washboards. That's just the stop that goes underneath, so it helps prevent rain coming in. Or if it does come in, then it goes down the back of the washboards rather than squirting across the cabin. And then that's just the front of it there. So this is all kind of today's job. Got to do the inserts. These are the helicoils that I was talking about over there. So what we do is we drill the right size, and then we tap it with this, with a tap. And then these are the little inserts that get screwed in there using this little tool here. It's a lovely little kit. You see that just fits on those little things there, and you screw it down in to there. And then the last part of it is you knock it out, knock the little pin out. I'll do another video when I'm of that, like detail of that. So anyway, so there's always lots of work to do, plenty of work. So let's go up on the boat, and I can show you just how much more stuff I've got to get through before I can launch this boat. So as usual, every time we go up and down the boat, then take off shoes. It's a real pain, but at least we've got a decent ladder. Stairs, what do you call it? Access stairs. Right. So, oh wow, stuff everywhere. So I just, I think I'll go to the front of the boat and start there maybe. See that we're passing the companionway. This is the washboard. It's also acrylic. And that's the top piece. So you'll see I've got a much smaller top than bottom. And it's got a little rebate. And the purpose of that is that, in bad weather you can have a smaller piece rather than, that will reduce the amount of water coming in, and because it means that you've only got sort of that much area. So I'm hoping that'll help. And that's also, like, if you look here, it's kind of, I'll have a transparent curtain here, and I'm hoping it'll not get too wet. This is just a temporary mock-up sliding hatch, and still to do here is, I suppose, is the garage which I need to make, which is just like a shape that goes over this. So that's quite a lot of work to do there, but it's coming along. Moving forward, yeah. The roof leaks, hence the bucket. Don't you love it? Yeah, so at the front here we have I've got to do the bow and stern rails, like the pulpit. I'm still not sure what to do. The holes for the cleats are sort of done, so that's just a case of, so we're going to basically do another prime coat on this just before we paint, and then clean up the toe rails. Primer comes up pretty well, so no problem. And then over here, I did want to put in a chock, like almost like a toe rail along here, just to try and prevent water direct impact, impact of water on this hatch on the seal. And also be really good to have something you can put your, as you're going forward, put your knee against to so that slide right across the deck. And thirdly, I'll try and have some sort of points on here that I can tie sails to rather than tying them on the rail here. I think it'd be better inboard a bit. And that's kind of a little trick I saw on one of Pip Hare's videos from her Imoca boat. So anyway, so coming back here, I think that's, yeah, so this needs to be radiused. And these corners, I need to just decide what I'm doing actually. They really are a bit too sharp for my liking, but I don't have much time left. So anyway, so let's move back again. I'll just move down this side, and then yeah. And of course on here we need handrails. So they're going to run it about 12 inches in, and vents. I will get vents. I'm hoping to use air-only vents from Ukraine. They look quite nice. So there'll be 3 vents, I think, 2 or 3. And then there'll be another one, yeah. And then at the back here, there's the 2 38 Anderson winches. I need to flatten this, create a plinth for it. Right, so now I'm moving to the back of the boat. Oh wow. This is where there's a heap of stuff. So here you'll see there's a hole. And no, that's not for a speaker. I'm not sure where they're going yet for the music, but that is for the vent. So that gets a screw-in dinghy vent cover for bad weather, but it goes in and then the vent comes up and down like a gooseneck fitting, just using like PVC plumbing fittings, and that means that I can get ventilation into the engine compartment if I need to. It'll also ventilate the whole of the back of the boat. So I'm just going to slide down the back. Oh, before I go down, let's have a look here and see what we can see. So, yeah, so that little stub is actually for the exhaust. So that's a recent thing. You can see I'm so busy with that. It's just a GRP thing. And that, so here's the exhaust pong box or water lift muffler. And that hose there goes onto there. Maybe I'll go down and show you. But yeah, so this area here, let's see what we've got. So this, maybe I'll start at the lazarette. That's the back of the boat. These here are for the bilge pipe runs, which this one is for the deck mounted one. I'm still not sure where exactly. And that the one there is for the internal one, which then runs all the way back inside the boat. It's a bit tricky to see. These, of course, are the drains. The cockpit bottom, which is that fits here. Those are dogs, so it can be removed. But it will have a 6mm offset, so that'll be filled once I'm done with a sealant. So it will be watertight, but if you need to open it, you just cut that and then lift it. So yeah, so this here is the, as I said, is the that lives on this on that's the little area for there that goes onto the elbow like that. And that there goes So there, something like that, and I'll have to secure it there. Sort of playing with the idea of using these very nice mountings from True Design with a cable tie. I think a couple of those there would do the trick. So that's fine. That's the so then in the back here, which I'm actually busy there now, just doing the final detailing and also doing the laminates on the exhaust. There are 3 skin fittings there, integral ones, composite ones, which need to be basically made in situ. And there, down there you can see that's the stern tube. So that'll get a Volvo style, it's called a stuffy box, which is just a rubber molding that fits on there with a lip seal which goes around the shaft. The shaft, the propeller shaft, thank you Dell. Dell very kindly has paid for that. I'll pick that up on Tuesday next week. So these access openings will all have hatches, okay? So that these then become watertight compartments. I think I've shown you this before, but that's the seacock for the exhaust. So that lives in there. There's a big screw-off hatch here. I don't think it's got. I have it here. I normally have everything floating around everywhere, but yeah. So that's that goes in there. You unscrew the cover, and in bad weather you would then shut that off. I think I'm going to have it that way around. And so the exhaust runs up there, does a big loop, and comes down through skin fitting, which is a bit hard to see, but we'll do a quick pan there in a minute. And then this, of course, is the engine controls. I need it's a used motor, so I need to get a new fascia plate from Beta. Anyway, the rest of it all works. I've tested it, so, and that'll probably be mounted in this area here. So I'm going to crawl through here, but yeah, and then of course if you just pass through that, that's the mizzen mast. And the mizzen, just for completeness, the mizzen will live there. I've got to make the base for that. Yeah, and a lot of cables run up here. Backstay runs off there, as I think I may have mentioned before. So it runs up here through past this, past the mizzen. So I'm going to go forward now, crawl over the engine. Okay, so that's just the view. I'm going to hand it over to my daughter who's the operator here, and she can maybe get a view of the little laser area. So if you pan around in there, you'll see all sorts of things. So basically, there's 3 tubes that need to be properly fiberglassed in and not finish off. Going forward, it's a bit tricky this, I must say. So the boat tour. I'll just, what I'll do, I think we'll turn around and then I'll show you. So in here, let's start off at the back and we'll move forward. Is the so if you come from this side, you'll see here. This is the water strainer, so that's in. Okay, that's screwed in, and I need to plumb it. This here is the engine hatch, so there is the engine, and most things are fairly accessible from the top. And you can see that the hoses will run through there, down there. This is the fuel filter, which will live around there somewhere. So we can also get better access by I'm going to lift this up here if I can. Oh, it's got to lift this way up, I think it's right. It's on that, it's actually not square. So this washboard here comes right out, and then tight. I have to ease something. I'll do it later. Oh, this is on it. That's why. Okay. But basically, should come out. Wow. There you go. It's a bit of epoxy grabbing. So yeah, you can see there that's pretty good access to most parts of the engine. One of the things I'm trying to work out is where to put the battery, the cranking battery. I'd love to have it over there, but not sure. Anyway, so that's kind of that. This I have to sort out, it's a bit tight. Pretty tight. Okay, so that thing goes down. This gets held down with a couple of things. And that's that. So here, right, let's look at the companionway ladder. So here we're just busy, so these are glued in yesterday, so these are little gussets down here, here. It's just to take the, sorry about the noise, the lateral loads. You know, if you're falling around there, you need this to be fairly strong. And for that same reason, it's got, I decided I wasn't really happy with the strength of this Oregon, it's a bit ordinary, so I've got these bolts go all the way through and provide it with a lot more strength that way. So again, it's a bit of a weird kind of construction method, but anybody who knows me knows I'm weird. So there you go. So that ladder you saw, these are the pivot points here. So it can pivot right up here, and then stay there. And then you can access things. So it's really easy. It's not no taking it off and putting it somewhere. It's actually there always. This here is the the batteries are, these are the battery boxes, but they also form two things. So the ladder is fairly vertical. It's because this will be it'll have a further part to it at the back, which is then a off-watch or on-watch seat. This is a wet area, and the nav table will go here. But you can sit in your wet fire weather gear, dripping with water, which then run into the sump area there, and that's all good. So, and then for the nav area, turn around, and then the nav, and then of course the table's here. There'll be like a bolster or something which will raise you up, etc. Then moving on a bit, yeah, just to do, I've got to sort out these chain plate solids. So this becomes a single skin. I don't know what happened here. Something had a bit of a brain fog, and so that I need to sort out. That's a job, not a big job, but it's a full day's job to do that. And then you'll see here's one of the bilge pumps. So this is the manual bilge pump, and I think that's going to go about there. It needs to be in a really good ergonomic position, somewhere that I can sort of hold on and pump. So the Jabsco pump, it's 100 liters a minute, is it? I think that's right. It's a massive amount of, it's a huge thing. Pumps. Yeah, so that's Jabsco Amazon. And there'll be a similar pump in the cockpit for that. Looking here, I've got this organised. This is the fuel tank. So under here is fuel tank. So in there that's all been flow coded and all the rest. So that's good for about 80 or 100 liters of diesel. and the lines will run back here and back through there to that filter I showed you with the shuttle valves here. And then along here we'll have the water tank valves will be along here, and they'll run back this way. This is where the galley will be. So the galley is going to just be a box very similar to the nav box, just a bolt-in thing that I can improve later. And that'll be in this area with a stove and a sink, and very simple. So here you can see we have the bunks, and these are all storage areas for food. I might just put it down for you to see what it's going to look like. Myself jammed up. Okay, should have put a loud noise warning onto this video. Okay, so that's one of the bunks, and I'll be sleeping like this, I guess. Here we'll have a lead cloth kind of tent arrangement. Probably something this side too, so it can't fall into the pilot berth. This will be extra storage. And I'll have two either side. Canvas curtain here to keep this as a dry area and keep it warmer. So this is sort of nearing kind of completion, I guess. It's not going to be, you know, the good thing about Suhaili is it was a fairly basic build. So this is not going to look very much different to this. This is getting quite close to being finished now. And these, of course, are the additional areas that need the hatches, also for food storage. So basically we have that and that would be 4 weeks worth of food. And so we will start off with 4 weeks worth of food for the start, and that'll be a lot of perishables and stuff. And they'll, when they're done, we take this food out, we stack the galley, and we take the garbage and we put the garbage into this area. And then the next 4 weeks we do the same. We take the garbage, put it into there, we take the food out. Of course, I mean, it's not going to be quite like that. We'll probably move. We want to keep weight in the bow for the upwind sections and weight in the stern for the downwind section. So we're running downwind initially to the Canaries. So I suppose we'll take food out the front for a start. Yeah, that's most likely what will happen. So that's good. So I'll just go ahead of you there, and this is kind of where I'm currently working right now. So this is the heads in this area. So we're going to get like a shelf there with a hole with a bucket. And you'll see that I've just been doing the tabbing. And the reason for that is that this bulkhead was, I put it in skew, or somehow it went in skew, shall we say. 20 mil out on this side, so I had to move it back 20 mil, and that side was correct. It was just a marking, the bulkhead's 20 mil, so it just was on the wrong side of the line, and it happens pretty easily. You can see some lines. That's where the shelves will go for the storage containers. And this side here will probably get a workbench, which can be a work surface workbench. You can put a vise on it. It'll run here, maybe with a fold-out section, so I can bring long things in here. So this is all happening, slowly getting there. This is where really there's an enormous amount of work that I need to get through, and maybe we'll start. When are we going to start at the top here? So you see all of this, and you can see here I've got this problem with mildew and mold, and this is just from all this and really kind of unseasonal, unusual amount of moisture we have at the moment, and it's just everywhere. So basically I sand it, put vinegar onto it, put bleach and all sorts of oxalic acid and many things like that. Once it gets 3 coats of epoxy, which is what everything gets, it's all fine. So you can see like this bulkhead looks shocking, but it does sort of tie up a bit. But this is really the next really big job that I have ahead of me. And it's all pretty tight in here. So that where the mast bearer is down the bottom, that's the beam. I've decided I'm going to fill in the sides of it so they don't have those funny little bilge areas, which I think are going to only just be a real pain. So I'm going to fill those in with some sort of Tassie oak, and that'll become a flat surface, and then the mast will fit onto that surface. I'll just give you an indication where that goes. So the mast base will go there, and you'll see that by having the increasing the width of the mast bearer beam, it'll be quite nice. It'll sort of work out with the mast base as well, all really tidy and neat. And then so all of these are just storage areas. When they're the boat, we tidy it up and they'll become a berth. But for the race, it's just storage for sails and lines and anchors and who knows what. And then going forward, get our camera in there. There is, oh my goodness, so that is a real mess in there that needs attention. That's the forepeak, I suppose. So that's all the watertight area, and I need to climb in there and just finish off the reinforcements for the bowsprit housing tube. You'll see there are two gussets where the unidirectional fibers run down, and from there that gets joined to the hull, so there's more reinforcements needed there, some quite big loads. Yeah, just quite a bit needs to be done there. Anyway, so that's kind of a quick review of where things are at. I've got a hell of a lot of work to do. I've got to decide what work I'll get done before I launch and what will happen after I launch and all that kind of thing. But there's a lot of pressure now to get the boat in the water. But having said that, I need to be careful about I could probably save, by keeping the boat back a week, I could probably save 4 weeks work with the boat in the water, just because it's so inefficient with having to go backwards and forwards for tools, for materials. And further, I don't think I can afford a marina berth, so therefore I'd far rather put that money into sails. So it would probably mean a swing mooring somewhere, and going up with a dinghy, and oh my goodness. Anyway, so heaps to do, so it's just a little bit of an update. Thanks for watching.